Hello my friends, you're watching First Gear Show and I'm sure that you have been waiting for this test for a long time. 50 years passed since Suzuki Jimny went into production and we have been waiting 20 years until the fourth generation of this model will appear. I'm sure these 20 years were not wasted. We came to the Carpathian Mountains right now and this is a great place to experience this little monster. Let's start. Well, let's start getting acquainted with the new Suzuki Jimny. I apologize for the camera shaking, this is because we're now on a serious off-road. Now we're in the Carpathians, we have climbed on Mount Dragobrat. Our path goes through impassable thickets and you will see it all yourself. I'm sure you'll be surprised because this is a small tank. We've already traveled more than 100 kilometers on it before filming and I have to tell you that Suzuki Jimny, though small, is a real off-roader. It has a rigid frame and it's one of the few modern cars that have this design. Oh god, I'm in a bar shaker. Speaking of the interior, it is compact. It will be quite comfortable for maximum 2 people. This car will not be able to provide comfort for more people, especially over long distances. But more on that later. I'll tell you about our version. This is a top version and you will ask me, where is the leather, the soft plastic, the elements of luxury? Sorry guys, but you don't understand what kind of a car is Jimny. It has a different purpose. This car is designed to overcome serious off-road while maintaining a productive look. Of course, I can talk about the suspension of this car for a long time. When you look at it passing huge pits and boulders, you see suspension right, you just can't believe it. You realize that many people have been working on Jimny for a very long time. And the 20 years that we have been waiting for the next generation of this model were not in vain. We have a short wheelbase and excellent all-wheel drive. This means that Jimny can drive just anywhere. But I did not imagine that here is such difficult road conditions. Jimny passes confidently, though sometimes touching the ground with its bottom. As for all-wheel drive, it struck me no less than this off-road. After the launch of the new Jimny, Suzuki has instantly received tens of thousands of orders worldwide. And now the plant where this model is assembled simply does not have time to meet the demand. That's why the company decided to sell this model only in the maximum configuration until the excitement subsides. Over time, Suzuki promises to show a soft-roofed version of Jimny. You cannot even imagine, my friends, what we had to go through to get to the Nanoprotec Technical Center. Bro, we climbed a 2 kilometers high mountain to see you. Say something. I'm very interested in your opinion.
You know, when I saw this car, I realized that everything new is well forgotten old. I met such technologies on very old SUVs.
I don't know if it's good or bad.
Tell me please, how does Jimny overcome mud?
Perfectly. I encourage you to watch this video till the end. Let's leave the car and see what's there. Take a look. This is a real Jeep wheelies. I have never seen this in modern vehicles. By the way, the front and rear suspension look the same. The bridge in front, the bridge behind. Everything is identical.
Indeed, those who have never driven Suzuki Jimny may be surprised. How can such a car appear in 21st century? But in fact, it can be. And the most important, this car has a large margin of safety. The new Jimny is built on the principle of a pivot system. We see a turning fist, it looks like a billiard ball. It is connected to the axle to which the wheel is attached. And on this ball, the wheel spins. The whole structure is mounted on an axis called a kingpin. Such a system is used on heavy trucks. Such a system can be operated for 100,000 or more kilometers without breakdowns. Therefore, there is no need to worry where to buy parts with such complex names. This may not be useful at all. The principle of operation is quite simple. The gearbox transmits rotation to the driveshaft, which is attached to the transfer case, and it already distributes the rotation to the wheel. The rear wheels receive torque constantly. This is why we call the rear axle a leading axle, and we can see the differential installed on it. What is the difference between the all-wheel drive system of new Jimny from the old? In the previous generation, all-wheel drive was activated using an electronic drive that connected the gears in the transfer case. This electric drive failed quite often because of mud, sand, etc. In new Jimny, the process is provided with a reliable mechanical connection. The lever in the passenger compartment is directly connected to this mechanism. What else is interesting here? When we connect the front axle with the transfer case, the differentials on the front and rear axles ensure that all wheels rotate at the same speed. That's why the four-wheel drive is very effective only on slippery surfaces, such as sand, snow, dirt, ice. On the pavement, it can quickly destroy itself.
And now we're back to the mountains. Dude, I'll see you in a few minutes. This is how it happens. This is the car that should help us if Jimny gets stuck. The old Range Rover seems to have a problem, and this proves that anyone who is looking for adventures will surely find them. Range Rover is rescued, we go on. And they say that the further the road will be, even more complicated. Let's see how Suzuki Jimny handles it. I'm sure that I would definitely not go here in another car. Let's talk about the design of the fourth generation Suzuki Jimny. If we take each detail individually, we'll see that there is nothing new here. The grille and headlamps are reminiscent of the first Jimny. The hood and fenders are from the second generation. Body shape reminds me of third generation, and the fourth generation is a mix of the three previous generations, but it's much more comfortable and capable of more than all its predecessors. Accordingly, the technologies here are modern. I'll show you what it looks like now. The salon is beautiful, everything is modern. Interestingly, Jimny became shorter, but taller. This is good news for a man of my height. It seems like a big trunk here. Here, as you can see, lies all our things. But for this purpose, it's necessary to sacrifice the back row seats. If you fold those seats apart, you get a tiny compartment. You can put here, for example, number plates, smartphone or notepad. Nothing more. So this is a car for good emotions, for fun. This is what I do, and I share it with you. Let's move on. Look at that dog. I don't even understand where he came from. The nearest town is many kilometers away. All we have here is wilderness. He decided to take a walk with us. The funny thing that he goes faster than we do. 1.5-liter atmospheric gasoline engine is installed here, 102 horsepower, and of course I would like to get more power, but for the rough terrain it is quite enough. The only thing, when the car goes up, it becomes obvious that the engine is very overloaded. Jimny offers you a choice of 2 gearboxes, 4-speed automatic transmission or a 5-speed manual transmission. The list of accessories includes everything you need from a modern machine: blind spot assistance, lane keeping assistant, and so on. By the way, the interior plastic is hard, but it's quite nice to touch. Overall impression of the interior: it's small. It's so small that my cameraman always tries to dodge me on the pothole. But the good thing is this handle, like on the Mercedes G-Class. By the way, most commonly Jimny is compared exactly to Mercedes G-Class, and indeed, they are similar in shape. They have equally round headlights and large wheels. The only thing that Jimny is half the size. But it should be remembered that G-Class appeared in the early 80s and Suzuki Jimny a decade earlier. So it's likely that G-Class is like Jimny, not other way around. The suspension here is simply unmatched. See how easy this car can handle the huge rocks under the wheels. By the way, a special damper is mounted on the steering rack, so the driver does not suffer from the vibration in the steering wheel, but simply enjoys the ride. The only thing that bothers me is that there is no armrest here. They say it's not needed here. In addition, without it, the car is tight, but I still have a lack of the armrest. Also, this car has very good sound insulation. I don't know how the engineers made this car so quiet. Look, there are metal body parts elements everywhere, but it's very quiet. When the car is still, I can't hear the engine running.
Guys, it seems that Suzuki decided not to complicate the life of the owner of the new Jimny and abandoned modern technology under the hood. An old motor is installed here, and it never had a problem. I repeat once again, there are no problems with this engine. This is the most common atmospheric engine without any complicated mechanism. I know cases when they served 500,000 kilometers without breakdowns. Here is the valve train chain. And this chain doesn't require replacement at all. Here is the simplest fast controller, the same that we could see in Suzuki cars 5, 7 and 10 years ago. And the fuel nozzles here are also the most common, which supply fuel to the cylinder with a pressure up to 4 bars.
You know, I get the impression that despite current trends, this car can be called eternal. It seems someone can inherit his children and grandchildren. It also has an automatic 4-speed gearbox. What can you say about it?
This is the most common torque converter. And the fact that it withstands the work with the transfer case and in all-wheel drive mode plays in its favor. But in order to make its life longer, it's necessary to service it. It is sometimes worth changing the oil and the oil filter in it.
Well, that's all we wanted to know from you. I thank you for an interesting story, and we're waiting for our adventure to go on. In today's world, it is important for the car to consume fuel efficiently, and in today's off-road, our Suzuki Jimny's onboard computer shows an average fuel consumption of 9 liters per 100 kilometers. I think that for this mode of operation, this indicator is simply great. God, it's beautiful here, but you should know that you need Suzuki Jimny to get here, or another real SUV. Who needs this car? Those who love to travel, active people in need of new emotions, but it's comfortable enough to meet your daily needs. This was First Gear Show. Thank you for your attention. Bye-bye.